Hi, and welcome to another episode of Boozing with Boomers. I'm Dave, and I've been on a quest to learn how to make a great balanced cocktail. So please hit the subscribe button so we can go on this journey together. Today, as we're getting closer to the holidays, I thought I would share some of our family traditions. All of us, especially Christmas, it centers around food and drink. And so while we comb through the recipe books for our favorite cookie recipes that we started making this weekend, or this past weekend, we also dug up our world famous eggnog recipe. And actually, it's known in the family as Pete's world famous eggnog recipe. Pete's not part of the family. This was invented about 30 years ago, and we reached out to Pete for this episode, and he said, gee, that's funny. I thought it was your family's recipe. So this is a shared recipe, and the reason it's so famous is I did not like eggnog. This version is very tasty and way too easy to drink. So one of my cocktails, I think I called it Dangerously Smooth. Yeah, this falls into that as well. And I have all the ingredients on the counter. You don't have to spend a lot of money on the liquor, but it uses 3 different liquors. So we are going to use bourbon, rum, and brandy in this. As well as it normally takes a dozen eggs, but we've modified the recipe to use egg beaters. But you're more than welcome to use a dozen eggs instead of 24 ounces of egg beaters. And the important part of this too is you're going to need a gallon jug to put in the base recipe. Now you can multiply this. Normally we have a large gathering at our house every Christmas, so we make 2 gallons of this. This year I'm only going to make a gallon. It's going to be a much smaller gathering. And let's get started, shall we? So as I said, there are 3 liquors that we're going to use. And this time I'm just going to go to the right to left since it's all ready to go. But it's 8 ounces of bourbon, 8 ounces of rum. And actually I'm using a dark rum. I actually think I did the rum first. And then 8 ounces of brandy. We then are going to use 2 1/4 cups of sugar. Let's hope I can get this in okay. A half teaspoon of salt. And then the fun part. This is not, by any chance, is this a dietetic recipe. We're going to use 2 quarts or 64 ounces of half and half. I use the pasteurized versus the ultra pasteurized because it has less sodium. And then we have 24 ounces of the egg beaters, and you want the regular egg beaters. Don't go for the egg whites. It just won't give you the same richness and color. And then the last is half an ounce of real vanilla extract. Don't use the fake stuff either. They really do taste significantly different, so we're going to use real vanilla. And then you can put this in your refrigerator. You can shake it up, put it on the top and shake it up. But I like to at least initially, grab an immersion blender and give it a good shot to get everything mixed up, especially in the old days when we used real eggs. It made a lot more sense to use the immersion blender. Here we're just trying to get them to mix up. This will last a couple of weeks. I have no idea if you can hear me. So this recipe, this batch will last at least a couple of weeks. You put it right in the refrigerator. The only thing you have to do once you pour it in, if you've got some cute little cups to go for it, is add a little bit of nutmeg. This is a mess. Which I actually forgot to bring down with me. So normally what we would do is we would sprinkle a little nutmeg in the glasses. And I'm going to break with tradition because I think it's easier if I turn this around and put it in our small glasses. So let's see how I did this time. So here's what's interesting. There's a lot of liquor in here. I don't really taste it. It's a very creamy, little bit of the egg, but I mean, it's a very smooth, simple cocktail. But trust me, it's got a kick. I think the sugar in here kind of helps tamp down some of the heat of the bourbon and the brandy and the rum. I used a dark rum. You could use a light rum. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I would just get the basic. Matter of fact, if it's in your bar, use it. But between the cream and the sugar and the eggs, the booze is really just kind of giving it a little bit of foundation, but it's delicious. I highly recommend it, which is why it's Pete's world famous eggnog recipe. So I hope you liked today's episode. Please try this over Christmas holiday and share with whoever is in your pod that you can come into your house. And until next time, cheers and thank you.